Hi, my name's Alan Prost, and I've created this short video to present for you the data gathered for the Cisco Research Chair 2018. The name of the study is a study of video production and distribution here at SAIT.
Firstly, I'd like to thank Cisco Enterprises for supporting the research initiatives here at SAIT, and I'd like to thank SAIT management for supporting this initiative as well to help instructors like myself get an opportunity to do such an interesting project. All good studies require some questions, and we're looking at determining whether videos are a good learning tool. We wanted to determine if SAIT should support video production, and how should they support that? That's really the proposal here. What kinds of things are preventing SAIT from producing more educational videos? And what strategies can we use to optimize video production here at SAIT? So to do this, we looked at some of the literature that's available on the subject. We found a lot of literature supporting video production, but not much about administration of e-learning initiatives such as this. We wanted to talk and get some feedback from the SAIT community itself. So we used surveys, focus groups, and interviews to capture the opinions and ideas of the SAIT community itself. And then, of course, the objective was to develop some action plans on how we might, if it seems like a good idea, to promote video, or the way we should move forward for these e-learning initiatives. I want to draw your attention to, this is only a brief overview, and that for more details you can go to this URL here and download a copy of the report itself. So one of our first questions about what did we learn about video itself, and from reviewing quite a few different studies, we found that video supported learning of learning objectives, whether in the classroom to create the flipped classroom or to support skill acquisition in laboratories. There was a lot of evidence to support that video does in fact improve exam scores. It does in fact help with higher order learning and collaborative abilities. So the literature does support that increased use of video is a good learning tool. So when we asked the SAIT community through surveys, is video a useful or valuable tool? Overwhelmingly, the students agreed that video is highly useful. You can see here from the graphs that many of the students, in fact about 80% of them, felt that video is a very and highly useful tool. When we asked the faculty in faculty surveys, about 90% of the faculty and about 90% of the management all agreed that video is a valuable learning resource and should be utilized for students. When we asked the SAIT community if video is utilized effectively at SAIT, we found that most of the students and the faculty seem to agree that video is underutilized by SAIT to support their learning objectives. So we can see here that they tend to fall on the choosing the lower end of the score between 1 to 3, and overwhelmingly the majority of students and faculty agree that video is a valuable learning resource and it's underutilized at SAIT. When we asked through surveys how and what videos are being used to support their learning objectives, faculty and management and students were pretty clear that most of the videos being utilized, about 50% according to this survey question, were from external sources such as YouTube. This was considered to be less than optimal because YouTube videos are often quite generalized and not specific to the learning objectives. About 35% of the videos being used at SAIT are produced by faculty members themselves. So these are amateur productions used to support the learning objectives. And it seems there's some indications that about 10% of the videos being used to support learning at SAIT come from professional sources and professional productions. It's pretty clear from our surveys that most of the SAIT community feels that SAIT should be producing more videos. The students overwhelmingly indicated that there's a high recommendation from students to support video production, that the faculty surveys indicate that about 75% of the faculty is clearly indicating that we should increase production. Some are undecided, about another 16 or so % are undecided. Management also agrees, with about 80% agreeing that we should support video production, and there's a small minorities that suggest that we should be not producing more videos. And there's a percentage of about 15% or so, both within management and faculty, that suggests they're not sure whether we should be producing more videos or not. But overwhelmingly, the outcome is SAIT should be producing more videos to support education and learning. Within the surveys, we asked faculty to identify some of the roadblocks to video production. And clearly there was a big indication, about 70% felt that financial, no offload was a big problem. Also the fact that there was no time in their work week to produce videos. But when we talked to faculty during the focus group sessions and during interviews, we found that often these are not necessarily major roadblocks because they get the rewards from the students themselves. They got a lot of gratification, and also it made some efficiencies within their classrooms in that they could experiment with the flipped classroom, that labs worked more smoothly when students came in well prepared, and that they could explore more concepts within their classes. So the reward was from the students themselves and from the way they can facilitate their learning. Now it still shows that about 60% of the faculty feels that a big roadblock is the need for educational and technical support on how to produce them. Clearly, there's also an access problem to video equipment, though we found in talking to most faculty members that were producing videos that management has been able to find them cameras and other equipment that they needed. So these are some of the major roadblocks, and we'll see if we can figure out a plan on how to reduce those. One of the key elements of the Cisco research was to come up with some plans for SAIT management and as an institution that we could follow through on. And one of the recommendations here, the kind of the gold standard, what we're looking for, is to create a resource room where equipment would be available, where there's a mentor available for faculty to come and talk to and discuss when they're trying to produce their videos to guide them along to the process. One of the key elements of this plan, though, is the creation of workshops for faculty where they can take it at their leisure, learn how to make videos, and be recognized for their video production efforts through PD activities within SAIT. The goal, of course, is to increase educational videos for our students, to increase the quantity and quality of the videos that will support their classroom and laboratory objectives. This is really useful for SAIT, and especially that we can brand it, and SAIT will become a more widely known proponent of this open education and a leader in e-learning technologies such as the use of video. One of the elements identified within the study that's important to recognize is that we're not managing potentially and optimizing video as a learning tool. Maybe we should be making sure that faculty understands the importance of self-testing and quizzing. And of course, the ultimate goal is to improve student outcomes. Once it was recognized within the study and within the focus groups and interviews that video workshops would be an important key point in this plan, we did another survey and we looked at what would be the priority of developing these workshops from faculty and from management. And we found that overwhelmingly there's a high degree of support and an overwhelming feel that this should be a higher level of priority within the SAIT management group, that we should be considering how to support video production and workshops within the SAIT community. Of course, the goal of management and these workshops is to increase video production. And what we saw when we asked in the survey is that the faculty agrees, about 80% agree, that they would be producing much more video. And management also agrees that if we create things like the workshop and support the faculty, that video production would be increased. And if that's our ultimate objective, this seems like a good strategy for doing that. So very briefly, what do we get from this study? What are our conclusions? And the conclusions is that video is an excellent learning tool. It's a good learning tool. It's a good way to support students and faculty to increase their ability to teach the learning objectives effectively and efficiently. Presently, faculty feels that video is underutilized, and faculty, students, and management all agree that we should support educational objectives by producing more videos and making them available. The question is, how do we do that? Presently, most faculty are using YouTube videos. Next in line, of course, is the faculty-produced videos, and these are very useful in that they're very low cost, and they seem to be quite effective because they're focused directly to the learning that the student requires. Professional productions are, of course, excellent, but are quite costly. The final conclusion does seem to be from the survey that SAIT should support increased faculty production of educational videos. The suggestion by the study and this group does seem to be that we should implement the GOLD plan, which is basically 3 steps: creating the resources needed for faculty, creating some faculty education with the ultimate goal of branding and producing much more educational content videos for SAIT students.
Well, thank you very much for watching the video. And if you have any further questions or you would like to discuss the data or the research in any way, please contact me right here at SAIT, and I'd be glad to talk to you about that at any time. Thank you very much.